this is exciting and particularly for those in California. We do not know for sure whether Dianne Feinstein is going to retire in 2024, because after all, she'll only be, like 106? Do we know how old she'll be?
Does she know?
In 2024?
Yeah.
She'll be 91.
91. Now, look, I have had a great uncle who lived to 104. My grandmother lived to 101. My father's getting up there. My mother's getting up there. And there is no doubt in my mind that, and my uncle, my great uncle, he went into work until his mid 90s as a lawyer. Now, he wasn't taking a full caseload. But, and he'd show up, he'd have a desk, he had a couple of clients. Dianne Feinstein reportedly has no idea where she is half the time. That's not me talking. I obviously have no contact with her whatsoever. I've never had contact with her. And so it's time for her to go about 2 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, frankly. But it's clear that she's going to serve out her term for whatever reason. And maybe she'll run again, which is why I like this announcement and the way that it was framed. Katie Porter has announced that she's going to be running for this seat with the presumption that it's going to be vacated by Dianne Feinstein, which is hopefully going to be helpful in those people around Dianne Feinstein getting her out of that seat. But here's Katie Porter's announcement. I couldn't hope for a better senator than I think Katie Porter would be.
We're living through a time of extraordinary change. I'm Katie Porter. Change can be electrifying and exhilarating, but change can also be disruptive, like the constant assault on our democracy and the dangerous imbalance in our economy. The threat from so-called leaders like Mitch McConnell has too often made the United States Senate the place where rights get revoked, special interests get rewarded, and our democracy gets rigged. Especially in times like these, California needs a warrior in Washington. And that's exactly why I'm announcing my candidacy for the United States Senate in 2024. I don't do Congress the way others often do. I use whatever power I have to speak hard truths to the powers that be, to not just challenge the status quo, but call it out, name names, and demand justice. That goes for taking on Wall Street and the big banks, big oil, and big pharma. It's why I refuse to accept corporate PAC and lobbyist campaign money. I don't want it. And I'm leading the fight to ban congressional stock trading because it's just wrong. To win these fights, it's time for new leadership in the U.S. Senate. If you agree, please go to katieporter.com.
Yeah, I mean, is there more to that or no? That's it. No, that's good. So this is great news. And by announcing this early, she hopefully will scare people out. I imagine if she gets a lot of donations, if they have an announcement over the next 24, 48 hours, that X number of dollars have come in, that's going to scare people out of the race. I mean, that's what this is meant to do. It is meant to show that she's got the strength, that she's going to be very tough to beat, trying to make herself the presumptive, heir, if you will, to that seat, all of which I would have a lot of problems with if I didn't like Katie Porter. But I do, and that's what politics is, right? So,
and certainly anybody entering the race to her right should not be welcome.
Exactly. And frankly, I just don't know that you're going to find anybody to her left that is going to have the opportunity to win across that state. She has proven that she can win in a district that was, when she started, running, well, it was reddish actually, and now I would say probably more arguably purple. Like all of California.
And her race, even this past cycle, was very close, and she fought it out. So she's unseated. She unseated a Republican to win her seat, and then has held it. So I think it's and frankly, in terms of just being a proven commodity in the way that she approaches being a lawmaker, and in terms of providing oversight, it's not inconceivable you could do better, but I would want more evidence
than somebody who is, I don't know, I'm just speaking of conjecture, sat on a city council or was a county supervisor or something like that. And frankly, this is what we should have in New York, too. We should have 2 senators like Katie Porter from California, and we should have 2 like this from New York, where when you're in a blue state and a Democrat is going to win this Senate seat, they should be as far to the left as possibly sustainable by the state. Bottom line, we need blue states to send the most progressive Democrats possible to the Senate and to the House. We just need that for the sake of the country, but also in terms of progressive politics.
It would be maximizing the model of like not just the squad, but just like, for example, people like, like Chuy Garcia in Illinois, like people who have like deep, some of the most blue districts in the country being also the most far to the left members of Congress there are.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's why, you would see like the Justice Democrats had their strategy was to win in primaries,
right?
That where there's no chance of them being a spoiler, and the amount of money that you need for a primary is much less than it would be a general election, and where, winning the primary is essentially winning the general election. That's been the strategy. Much harder to do on a Senate level,
right?
But still very important, and we're getting there. We're getting there. It's slow, but the Senate is moving to the left. I mean, it just simply is as a fact. It's taken 20 years, but it's happening. Hello? He hung up by mistake. I'll take one more. 973. You just got a bonus. 973. 973.
Is this me?
Yeah, it's you. 973.
Shout out to the Twitch chat. Can you hear me?
Yep. Shout out to the Twitch chat. What's on your mind?
Shout out to the Discord chat, to coolest chats.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, what's your honest opinion on who might win if Adam Schiff jumps in against Katie Porter? Because I feel like he has a lot of Mueller impeachment gusto, and that could be dangerous to Katie. But after all that gusto, he's just a milquetoast Democrat against the mighty Katie Porter.
To be honest with you, it hadn't even occurred to me, but I don't know. I mean, God help us. Adam Schiff is just, I think, completely useless as a senator.
So I think he's already planting. It was a little disrespectful for her to, announce pre-Feinstein.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah,
Good
right.
for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. Good for her.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's hard for me to see that he would have motivated supporters. Like Katie
To the
Porter.
extent he does, that I think they'd be problematic ideologically.
Yes, I agree. But that ideology tends not to necessarily to be like Katie Porter seems to me the type of person who would inspire people from I'm going from Ohio to work on Katie Porter's campaign. I just, it's hard for me to imagine that there are, what's your name, caller?
Matt from New Jersey.
Matt, it's hard for me to imagine people doing that for Schiff. Now, with that said, that could be just my own bias, and but I got to think that Katie Porter is going to be able to get a lot more smaller donations, but Schiff is going to be able to get a lot more bigger donations. I like to think that maybe the fact that Dianne Feinstein was a woman, that maybe there's a sense in California she should be replaced with a woman. I'm reaching for straws here, but good for Katie Porter. This is why she's so good, because she goes right for the jugular. I'm going to announce and make Adam Schiff go, it was rude for him to do that. Shut up. Appreciate the call, man.
All right, thanks. Left is best.
Thank you. Good last call of the day.